paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
New podcast, 3, 2, 1. Here's the episode. I'm not waiting for Corbin to be like, yeah, I'm the bus driver. Like, this is a hard cold open. We're doing it. We're casting. I'm pouring my beer. That means we're started. I hope you got a recording going because we are live. We're podcasting. We're not live, but we're live. We're live. It's live for us. It's live for us. Okay. So it's going.
You know what then, Jason? We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Welcome
Brewery,
to the
everybody.
podcast. This is Brainstorm Brewery. I have taken over the bus, like in Speed, when the guy got shot. Remember the bus driver got shot? The guy with the really weird haircut, right? Like you don't expect to see that guy. He had like a guy that looked like he was a feudal farmer, sort of a haircut, and you're like, "What are you doing driving a bus?" He looked like he cut his own hair. Anyway, that guy got shot, and then Sandra Bullock had to drive. I'm Sandra Bullock in this scenario, and if this podcast goes under 60 miles an hour, we will crash.
All right, we're going to keep it moving then. Welcome into the show, everybody. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, some not so fun stuff to talk about. But actually, we're going to start things off by talking about what we just got done doing, which is streaming on Twitch. Jason's hold of a beer. It's what he just got done doing. We streamed some Commander with Tappy Toe Claws on Twitch tonight. It was great. We have been doing it on every Monday. And the reason I bring this up is to let you all know that it is coming up on the end of the year. And that means it's time for end of the year Patreon perks. And we're going to knock this out of the way up front and we'll be fast. We went deep into it last week, but the short version is wherever you're at, whatever level you are at, you will receive at least something. And if you are higher up, you're going to get a lot more. We've got Brainstorm Brewery dice. We've got signed tokens going out. We've got a lot of good stuff. I'm going to hold this up to the camera here. So anyways, go check that out from last week. We posted it on our Twitter account as well. We really do appreciate all of our patrons and everyone who subscribed to us on Twitch, which is a new thing for us, but we're having some fun with it. So
we are Twitch affiliates.
We are affiliated.
We're affiliates.
Yes.
We are Twitch affiliates. We did it. I've been trying to get the Chandelar speedrunning world record. I came within 30 seconds of 8th place on the leaderboard. So I am basically the 9th place Chandelar speedrunner.
Yeah, he's got the split software set up and everything. Jason, you need to submit it to speedrun.com.
The benefit...
I will.
The benefit of having 3 different personalities stream under a single channel is that, like, it's much easier for us to drag the worst among us up to a greater level, right? And, like, Jason is in the top 8 leaderboards for Chandelar. I just got the Kraken pet, and I'm about to get the Dragon Tier trophy on OSRS Trailblazer League, and Corbin's just dying a lot in Among Us, but, like, the fact that we're doing this together means that we are greater than the sum of our parts.
RuneScape is kind of like if no one knew what Diablo 2 was. It's Diablo 2 if nobody knew what it was. Basically,
anyway,
because I can't reference Diablo 2. If I say like, oh, I got a Stone of Jordan, everyone knows what that is because Diablo 2 is cool. So when you like, I got the pet from killing the gargoyle and I didn't get a tentacle drop for 600 kills, so I'm glad I got it. And I'm like, no one knows what you're talking about. So like, just put it in Diablo 2 terms.
Okay, I'll go even deeper. You know how like the K-pop community is not to be f***ed with?
Nope.
Like, well, ask Donald Trump about that. Yeah.
Like the K-pop community is just like the ultimate sleeping giant of like Twitter and just like
the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's what the old school RuneScape community. I'm not saying I'm part of that, but I'm just saying if they were to watch this podcast and feel that slight, they might be the K-pop community of neglected gaming communities.
I didn't really follow much of that, but speaking of things I can't really follow very well, all these new secret layers. There are quite a few of them.
Bro, I realized that in the movie Speed, sometimes you had to like blow through an intersection because like the bus can't slow down. We got to go. Oh, there's a woman pushing a baby carriage across the street. We can't slow down. We got to wreck through it. But you trying that hard right turn is like in the movie Speed, where they ran out a highway and they had to do the hard right turn and like keep the bus from going off the highway where it wasn't finished. Like it was the hard right turn on the airport tarmac where they were going in circles trying to get everyone off the bus when they, changed the camera feed so Dennis Hopper couldn't see them taking the people off the bus. What I'm saying is, the movie Speed
is a perfect. Is that what you're saying? It's a perfect movie.
It's, what? Speed isn't bad. It's got Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock and Dennis Hopper.
I have to say, in this analogy, Jason, I think if I'm the bus driver trying to keep things going quickly, I understand. I might have got shot at some point. I think you are trying to derail us. So what does that make you?
I'm Sandra. Listen, Sandra Bullock was not a bus driver. She was just a passenger.
No,
you're the mother with the
baby. No.
What's that?
You're the mother with the baby walking in front of the bus trying to make us slow down. It was a homeless
woman with cans. If you'd seen the movie, you would know that it was a homeless woman with a baby carriage full of cans. Okay? So, you know what? Yeah, maybe I hit something, but it was cans. It's fine. It was just cans, man. And that's California where cans aren't even worth a dime. Like in Michigan, I could see that. It's like, yeah, of course it was cans. That's a whole full-time job is picking up cans.
It's a full-time job keeping up with these secret Lairs.
That was smoother than Keanu Reeves when he shot the hostage. He shot Jeff Daniels in the leg and then they gave him a medal. It was smooth getting that medal for shooting his partner. I love the movie Speed.
What do y'all think of the
Let's talk about these
rock?
Secret Layers. Who dropped
what do you think
Keanu
about the
Reeves dropped Dennis
layer?
Hopper by putting his head up in the subway tunnel. All right.
I don't like the metal one, but I'm like
that's the only one
that it exists. Like yeah. I don't hate that it exists. I'm like people are gonna like that, sure, but I'm gonna find it in batches while storing and just shiver a little bit.
But they need to do stuff like that. They need to go crazy. They need to. Because they find the metal one, I don't even like metal, but I like the aesthetic on some of them. So it's sort of like they needed to do something pretty crazy to get something for everybody. Because I was never going to buy one for me. And everyone was talking about the Mana Rock one. They're like, oh, it's so I love it. And I'm like, I don't like any of this shit. And then they did the metal one. I was like, okay, I can see buying this for me. So I think the more risks they take, the more they could potentially enfranchise new audiences that don't feel like their particular taste is being catered to. So I like that they went wide with it.
That's a great way to put it. And I love that they're doing the art. This is what the Secret Lair series should be. Reprints, trying new stuff, like you said, enfranchising new audiences, highlighting their own artists. Like they're doing with the Seth MacKinnon one. This is all great. I love this product, and I love that they're going for it with them, because who cares? It's a weird version of a Damnation. It's a weird version of a Chromatic Lantern. Like, who cares? These are just extra versions of cards for people who want them. It's not jumping the shark. They're not doing anything weird. They're not, making us buy these to play. They're just maybe not for you if you don't like a particular one. But like you said, that's okay because there's a ton of them and some of them are cool. I like the rocks.
It's such a dumb argument. Like, you can only say a product isn't for me for so long before I think the game isn't for me. Just shut up. You had 4 chances. You had 4 sets come out a whole year, right? They didn't take anything from you. They just gave more stuff to other people. And if you feel like giving stuff to other people is taking stuff from you, what is wrong with you?
It's a percentage argument, because before, if you hit 2 products out of 4 per year, they're like, that's fine. I had a 50% hit rate and there were 2 products that weren't for me. But now if there's 16 products that are for me and 34 that aren't for me, now I have a 33% hit rate and that feels bad. So that's where the emotional,
it's a fatigue thing for sure.
That's where the emotional I don't know the word to use. The disconnect
fatigue,
or
fatigue, right? Is a good one. I think people just get tired of seeing stuff they don't like.
Sure.
And it feels because there's always something new. There's always something new to talk about. So if you just, like you said, don't like more of them than you like, that's gonna feel like it's all you hear about.
Right, but it's ignoring the fact that there were more hits than before. Like there were still more things you liked than previously than.
Yeah. Well, I also think now that we're a little deeper into this, people have seen the secret layers, right? We get it now. I feel like at this point, if you are still playing Magic and still choosing to participate in the Magic economy, you have accepted the fact that you're getting these secret layers and these crazy versions of cards, and you're getting showcase cards, and you're getting full arts, and you're getting box toppers and masterpieces and whatever else. Like that's just part of the deal now. And if you don't accept that after a year of it, then I mean that is, but we've all just adapted, and now there's just more versions of cards that we have to keep track of. And I think once you get behind the mindset that it's good for them to, do these things and experiment, whether you agree with that or not, you kind of accept that that's the way it's going to be at this point. So you're right. Like making the argument over secret layers at this point is silly, right? You either like them or you don't. And I think some of them are really cool. And the ones that I don't like, no big deal. And I think that's how people need to adjust their paradigm if they haven't yet already. As long as it's something like this, right? As long as it's reprints of cool cards, as long as it's artist spotlights. Getting mad over The Walking Dead, that's a different story. I understand.
But, hey, you know what? As much as getting mad over The Walking Dead was annoying, I think it was necessary too, because I think they need to see that that was an avenue they need to not explore. Yeah. I think when they see the positive feedback surrounding the metal and the ooze and the rats and the mana rocks and the Seth MacKinnon, I think once they see positive feedback around that and then negative feedback around the holy shit, new cards and they're not Magic IP, get out of here. So you know what? I'm glad the people got mad about The Walking Dead because I think if they had anything else in the pipe, they might cancel it, and they might not pursue that in the future. And I think
I just don't want them to make them legal in Legacy.
Well, it's important that people get mad about them for the right reasons,
right?
And I've talked about this before with the analogy of Magic players are the patient and the people that make Magic are the doctors. When you're the patient, it is important to be able to articulate your problem in a way that helps the doctor diagnose, and just adding in a lot of gray noise and just bad info of these are bad because X, Y, and Z, regardless of what those reasons are, if you need to analyze those reasons and actually come to reasonable conclusions about why you're mad about something and whether it's actually a problem.
It certainly does help.
Because player frustration the players are always right when it comes to whether or not there is a problem. The players are not always right when it comes to what the problem is, and that's huge. That's
and how to fix it.
Yeah. That's such a big thing that players don't get. Is any Magic player can look at a format, regardless of what it is, whether it's a format, a card design, a set release, anything like that, and they can say something is wrong here, and it is never correct for the deck designer or the format designer or the person designing the game to be no, there isn't. Mm-hmm. That's never the correct play, because the player will always be right when they identify whether there is a problem, whether that's Uro, whether that's Oko, whether it's a single card design. You can understand when a problem exists. It's just going deeper in and dissecting specifically what the problem is.
And one of the ways to take
player
what
has
you're
no idea what the
about,
hell they're talking about.
One of the ways to take what you're talking about and really actually put it into specifics. This is an example. I go back to the Etherworks Marvel standard. And after that, even because I remember talking to a lot of pros at that time. And in particular, I remember a conversation with Brad Nelson about the format where he said, yeah, obviously you play Marvel because it's broken, but even outside of that, the format's just not very interesting. You just play your best card every turn, you slam it on the table, and that's what you do. You each play your best card every turn, and then one of you wins and one of you loses. As opposed to now, when this is one of the positives they've gotten right from recent design, is the way you play your cards matters. And that's a really key difference that a lot of players can articulate, is that, you know, a format being fun or unfun is not just about the cards being played or the diversity. It's about how those games are played and how they play out. And formats like we have had over the past year, even when they've had individually broken cards, is the way the games play out is very different. And that's made a big difference, I think, to why people actually seem to be enjoying Standard right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a really, really interesting point you can, like, an example you can make that's the exact opposite of that, or like the other end of the spectrum, I guess is the best way to put it, not the opposite, is like the Caw-Blade meta. If you've been playing Magic for a while, back in 2010, 2011 or so, there was a meta where Jace the Mind Sculptor, Scalding Tarn, Squadron Hawk, Sword of Feast and Famine, Lightning Bolt, Mana Leak, Dismember, all of those were standard legal. And, like, the metagame Corbin was describing with Aetherworks Marvel, it's like, everyone just plays their best card.
Or Teamer Energy. You just play your best card every turn.
Yeah. Like, the metagame is just like, I play X card.
It's Epic the card game at that point, right?
Yeah. You each claim your thing, that's it. But Caw-Blade, go ahead. And
Caw-Blade was broken. Both of those metas were very broken, but they were broken in very different ways. Because Caw-Blade was like...
Caw-Blade was too there was too much interaction.
Yeah, like it was a format where there was still only one deck, but that deck was extremely skill intensive. So you can argue as a game designer, like, this format's fine. It's incredibly skill testing. The best players will always win. And then you could look at the other format and say this format is fine. Like, there's multiple different decks you can play, but whether the divergent and convergent gameplay patterns of those decks are what matter a lot more. Right. And that, like, Marvel is just like, I play card go, you play card go. Even if there's 5 different decks, like, that's a bad format. And then Caw-Blade is like, there's one deck, but there's 8 million ways to play it, and you have to be big giant brain to play it. That's still a bad format.
Right, exactly. And the point is with that previous one is the point is it went deeper than one card, right? It wasn't just Marvel. All of the cards in a Team or Energy deck or that format, which you just play the best card and pass the turn. There was no thinking about different lines or anything. And so it seems like for all the crap we give Wizards for the bad designs or the broken designs or whatever you want to call the Uros and the Omnaths, the other part of that, which to many pros at least is much more important based on how much Magic they play, they've been doing great on that. So all right, let's move on. Let's get through this episode. Let's break some bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
Using our favorite website for prices, MTG Stocks. I'm going to go first here. And I'm going to talk about Commander Legends because we're going to talk about it a little more after this. But a white uncommon from Commander Legends, originally printed in an Innistrad set.
An Innistrad set.
An Innistrad set.
Is it Blessed the thing, Alliance? The model thing? Blessed Alliance?
It is not Blessed Alliance, no. It's in Commander Legends.
3-minute Inspector.
Nope.
That was common, right?
I didn't hear him say a rarity if he did.
It's an uncommon. It's an uncommon from Shadows over Innistrad. White uncommon.
Is it? No, it's not the flip one, because there's no flip cards in Commander Legends.
I didn't expect this to be... I thought y'all would instantly get it. I thought that's why I had to hide where it was from. Originally in Shadows over Innistrad. It's $1.50. The original version.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure I'll just be like, oh, I'll just forehead.
Shadows over...
yeah.
Well, the second you say it, but...
There's not a lot in that set in white.
I mean, this has been a $2 card for a year before the reprint.
Yeah, like, I'm
Is it because it's human?
I'm just blanking.
No, it's not a human. There is a human in the art.
But there's so many good rares in white, and
just let me know if you want me to tell you. I'll tell you whenever you'd like.
Is it the ghost?
What?
No, it's not a creature. It's a sorcery.
Yeah, open the armory.
It's open the armory. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because of the Hammer Time deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that was in that set.
In general, the cards also can. I guess you could look up the commander sets for it. I assume the card sees some commander play
because I can see how much is played in EDH, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a tutor, so I just assume that it's always had some appeal.
Fun fact, piggyback off that.
Yeah.
Corbin, do you know what the price of Steel Shaper's Gift is right now?
Like 10?
Oh, God. I would have I don't know the last time that card was printed. And I don't know what the hell has happened to, like, Modern. But if that's also in the Hammer Time deck... God, I don't know, man.
It's like 15 last I checked, which was like 2 days ago.
I would have said 5 to 10.
15. Cool.
I don't remember last time did that card get reprinted?
No, it's just Fifth Dawn.
I bet its price is gone. I'm gonna go look at the price graph for that.
It's just Fifth Dawn, that card.
Wow,
because somebody asked me for that deck list. I had a customer ask me for that deck list, and I said, "Here's the price," and they said, "What? Why?" And I said, "It's all Steel Shaper's Gift."
Yeah, that's crazy. Nuts.
Corbin, you were asking how much Open the Armory's played.
Yes,
like 13,000 decks on EDH Rec. It's played.
That sounds like a lot.
6% of the total registered decks containing white, and we got a few equipment commanders in both Zendikar and Commander Legends. Yeah.
Wow. Steel Shaper's Gift is in fact 15. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, Steel Shaper's Gift is what makes that deck insane because it lets you play the
hammer
it had been in like instant speed and equip it.
I thought it's what makes that deck Modern Masters 1 or something. I'm just shocked at no reprint.
It is
that's what's getting me.
Just Fifth Dawn.
How?
Corbin, they should do a secret layer. I'm shocked there's no reprint. They could do a whole secret layer series of like.
That would be a pretty good one.
There's one printing on Training Grounds. There's one printing on Training? Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me?
Steel Shapers, they've done 35 Boros equipment decks in the past 5 years.
Secret layer, oops, we forgot. Just secret layer, oops, we forgot.
Yeah, no kidding.
We'll put it in a mystery booster.
We forgot.
You know what wasn't in a mystery booster? A card that only has two printings. One was a Modern Master set. One was its original set in an Innistrad set. I won't tell you which one. This is a blue common.
I was trying to sing "Oops, I Did It Again." I wasn't listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, AVR blue common. Two printings.
Ghostly Flicker.
Ghostly Flicker's a $1 despite being printed at common.
Ghostly Flicker is this was Jason's pick in March.
Oh, so 3 years ago. It was a pick pre-COVID. You're gonna ding me for picking a card pre and post-COVID.
No, I think you're allowed. I put it in the spreadsheet. It's over. Ghostly Flicker is a popper card, I believe, in addition to just being a flicker card.
Yeah.
That's
why it's $1 despite being printed in a Masters set.
Yeah. All right,
okay,
DJ,
here's one. No, here if you want another one, how about an Eldritch Moon blue common?
It's the spirit version of the same card, right?
Yeah, Displace.
Yeah.
Same deal. That's only like a quarter. You know, it's not quite as good.
Yeah.
It's like Flicker, and then if it's a spirit, it gets a counter, right?
No. Exile up to 2 target creatures you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. Is that the same exact card?
No, there is a spirit version, but I think the spirit version is different.
You're thinking of Essence Flux, I believe it's called, DJ.
So Displace says return under their owner's control, and Ghostly Flicker says under your control.
Sure.
And Ghostly Flicker also works on artifacts and lands, which is what makes it really nuts.
Oh, yeah. That's why Displace is worse, because you
for what it's worth, y'all, Essence Flux was worth 75 cents. Bringing this up was worth 75 cents before it was reprinted in Jumpstart. So basically, any effect of this printed.
How did Jumpstart bring the prices down when no one got any Jumpstart and all the cards that were in Jumpstart had like Core Set 2021 cards smushed onto them?
I mean, it's an uncommon, so there were at least
like I opened a pack of Jumpstart and the basic lands only had one type of basic land printed on them, and someone's like, "I'll give you $25 for that island that doesn't have anything else on it." was like, done. It was like, I've never seen a Jumpstart land that didn't have 2 different kinds of basic land printed on it. I've never seen that shit before. That's super rare.
Well, it's because at the factory where they're getting made, like everyone's just coughing and not even looking at the machines as they go by.
Yeah.
So like, I have a Khans of Tarkir black. I guess I'll say rare. A Khans of Tarkir black rare.
What do you mean? You guess you'll say rare? What does that even mean?
That's information. That's
Is
a
it a
lot of
token?
information. No, it's not. It's just a Khans of Tarkir black rare. That's. I didn't want to give up like that much information because Khans of Tarkir black card is like
Trying to remember that set. Rares. Not how we're supposed to play this game. God.
That's what do you mean? What
I'm
do you
just
mean?
thinking.
Is it? But like, is it the gargoyle?
No.
I don't even remember what Black's mechanics
it-
were in Concept here.
It was Delve.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. So there was like
Hasseger?
the gargoyle. There was like the creature with debt raid.
Well,
Right?
there was
The
Delve,
what's
and
her
there was,
There was raid.
and yes, and there was Morph.
Is it Palace Siege?
Nope.
Is it Grim Harvest specs?
Yep.
That
Really?
checks out,
Oh, I
actually.
wouldn't have assumed that was the bulk rare. That's a pretty good card.
It is, but it's
Same.
also been reprinted quite a few times, I think.
I mean, it does sound like a card you would get in bulk, especially if it's seen a reprint.
For sure,
What's
for
it
sure.
worth?
I mean,
What's it worth, TJ?
It has seen a few
Certainly.
reprints. It's gotten.
I've seen it in
it's-
bulk.
Yeah, and it was also on the list, and it was in the Commander 2019 decks as well. So like, it's got.
What's it worth? What's it worth still?
A
Is it
dollar.
just like 50 cents?
A dollar.
Yeah, reasonable, honestly.
It's just a card I always listed 99 cents, and it always sells. Just 3 mana, 3/2. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card. Just a solid value engine.
Mm-hmm.
Just solid.
All right, I want to talk about something that we got talking before the cast, and we realized that this was probably just a good thing that we should speak about on air. I was looking at, specifically, I was just looking at cards we were talking about Secret Lairs. I looked at Gilded Goose from the Secret Lair series, and it's $3. And at first glance, that seemed insane to me. Gilded Goose has been printed in Throne of Eldraine. It was printed in the promo pack of Throne of Eldraine. There's a borderless version of it. There's foil versions of those. There's a pre-release version. But those are all the same art. The Secret Lair version is $3. It's a different art. And I can't stress this enough. Gilded Goose is really good. Birds of Paradise has been printed 1 billion times and is still worth money. Gilded Goose is more played than Birds of Paradise in modern these days, I think, because of food synergies, and the 2 toughness means it doesn't die to Rin in 6. So it seems like a crazy low price to me, but we got talking about it, and it seems like maybe Throne of Eldraine, when we hit all these different versions of cards, is just going to kill prices in a way that we haven't seen in a long time, and that maybe
Throne of
something like Gilded
Eldraine
Goose
moving
isn't worth
forward,
it.
you mean, right? Throne of Eldraine didn't do anything specific except that was the set where they're like, we're going to juice it, and we're
I think
gonna
that's
do
when they
these
started doing the
collector
promo
boosters.
packs, right? Or were
Yeah.
they already doing those?
Yep.
Yeah, just it's around that time that we started getting hit with the 10 different versions.
Well,
of
I
cards,
mentioned
right?
this back in the day.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we've talked about it.
did,
and
but
now
we
we're
didn't have
seeing
any
it.
data. Now we have,
Right, now-
we've
yeah.
seen a couple sets and the impact that's had on prices.
And one of the reasons this came up in the first place is because I looked at some of the prices of rares from Ixalan. And a card that I have on my pick of the week from back in the day, earlier this year, was Dousing Dagger. Spoilers, my pick tonight is going to be another card from Ixalan. And I looked at just some of the cards from Sam. I was like, how are these cards getting to be worth money like this? How is Tatyova, an uncommon from Dominaria, worth almost $3? At the time, back then, we sort of said and thought, maybe it's just not cards. Rares aren't going to be worth money based on these certain things. And now we're getting to that point where these cards are becoming worth money. So it begs the question, is Gilded Goose and cards like Gilded Goose good targets because of what we're seeing from sets just a few years older than that? Or is all the different versions and printings of stuff, is it just going to depress the prices to such an extent you don't even want to mess around with something like Gilded Goose at $2?
I think people have options now. And I think what you're seeing on the same basis is you're seeing the non-foil version and the set foil version of these cards be worth the exact same. Because you are seeing these collector boosters and just like foils are so much more abundant, and there are like better version of foils now. Like the extended art foil is the foil, so the regular foil is just their trash. So not only are you seeing like good cards that have multi-format applicability that would have been $5 or $6 in years past be like $1 or $2, just on the basis of like there are so many copies and so many versions. You were seeing set foils be worth the exact same as the non-foil unless it's a mythic. And I think that's crazy. But I think that is the new reality for Magic cards going forward.
I mean, it makes sense, right? If the normal versions of cards cost X, the foils are always worth more. And then any super special rare promo would be worth more than that.
I think this is also where like Wizards has done a poor job in what they wanted the collector boosters to be, and that is to like provide a customer with like a super chase lottery experience that gives them that whole like I can open this crazy cool like $100 card. And like I read something recently where it's like Pokemon does this really, really well, and Yu-Gi-Oh's done this really well to an extent to the past, but they end up like eating their own tail and reprinting that super chase card to death shortly after. Like Yu-Gi-Oh will be like, oh, here's the super cool $300 card that's a secret ultra mega rare, and then everyone like scrambles like hyenas for the packs. Then 6 months later, it's in a booster tin for $10.
Yeah, it's just a known part of the model in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, but Pokemon does this really, really, really well, in that like even in the most recent sets, even in the most like available products on the market that come out this year, like they still have this like masterpiece level cards you can open. You can open this like $400 Charizard and then go send it and get it graded, and then like you just have this like super mega ultra piece, and like you can't do that with a collector booster. If you open a Zendikar Rising collector booster, your best bet is a full art extended borderless whatever of a banned card. Like, and even that aside, like, okay, besides that, what's your best bet? Okay, it's the fetches, right? Like, it's Scalding Tarn and Verdant Catacomb. What are those, like, sub 100? They're like 70 or 80 for the foil marquee card in that set. For the best thing you can get is like $70 or $80 from your like $20 booster. And like, they did this so well with Zendikar, Battle for Zendikar and Kaladesh, and then they just tanked it.
That's what they do.
They just tanked it. And like, look at Masterpiece Soul Ring right now. That is the perfected version of what that Charizard model is. It's like, you can open a pack of Kaladesh and you can get a $400 Soul Ring. And it's the same as your $300 Soul Ring, just like your $400 Charizard is probably unplayable and bad, but it's a Charizard, so cool. And like your $400 Soul Ring does the same job as a $3 Soul Ring. But, like, they could have done that this time. They could have done, like, make a Masterpiece Super Mega Omnath that, like, that blinds you when you look at it. And, like, make it $500.
Well, I have to say, though, DJ, it kind of reeks of corporate America. If something is popular and does well, you do it to death. So they did those things. And, I mean, maybe there were some flaws.
They're always learning the wrong lessons.
Well, the secret Lairs are what they realize. You know, if we can sell more packs, let's do more of that. So you get secret Lairs. So that's where it's gone. But your point is that they're overdoing it. And
but they've done it like they've done it the right way and then done it in the wrong way at the exact same time too, which is the mind blowing part. So like the Charizard analogy, right? Like you kind of can't do that with Omnath because Omnath Omnath is like the closest you can get to doing that because they've actually built it as like this character that has like, I don't want to say character development, but like color development, I guess, over like 10 years. But you kind of can't do that because there's nothing to like associate with Omnath, right? But like they did it with the Liana. They did it they got so close with Liliana. With War of the Spark, there's like, here's this guy that draws Final Fantasy art. Here's an $800 Liliana. Go find it, you nerds. And like, they did that in Japan, and it like, you can still open a $1,000 Japanese foil Liliana from War of the Spark booster pack. Like, you have that like miracle trend, and Liliana is like a perfect character to like staple that dollar value to. And then like
how excited you're getting about this is exactly what they want from players, and it's you're right. It's so sad that they have turned it into buy a $20 booster to even have a hope
to get a 1 in 1,000 roll of like an $80 card. Yeah. It's that wasn't necessarily the direction we intended to go with this, but I do think it kind of underlines what we're saying is that maybe there's just so many versions of cards that you can always expect them to top it. And they've shown that they're going to go back to the same ones. Just because, you got Scalding Tarns and Masterpiece version a while back doesn't mean you're not going to get another version now. But
they're going to keep going to that well.
You can do that. Like, you can have that model and you can reprint that card to death and you can bring that card back, but you have to do it the right way. And that's just like this, like Soul Ring and Liliana are like the two perfect examples of that, where it was just beautifully well done. And then like you need to tie it to like an emotion other than just like playability or like competitive value. Like Liliana has all the people who have body pillows of her at home, and Soul Ring is just like this nostalgia serotonin hit of people who remember playing on cardboard. Like,
well, you're absolutely right that collector boosters instead have I don't even know because you're right, people open them hoping to get money out of it, but I think right now there's a real I say right now, I'm kind of speaking pre-COVID when I was actually interacting with more Magic players who were buying packs, but people sort of had a misconception. They thought they were opening much more valuable cards than they were, and you're right. Like, and that's so I don't even know. At this point, it just feels like they're just going to keep doing it, and they're going to paywall all the really cool stuff behind that.
Oh my god! Like the first couple months of 2020, like Reno and New Jersey, like those GPs, when people brought up foil extended art crap to me that was supposed to be the marquee cards of the set, they're like, "Hey, I opened up this alternate border foil Nylea from Theros. What do you give me? $3. But why? Because I can pull it up in TCG and they sell for $5 right now."
Somebody brought, I remember somebody opening whatever the Garrick was and wanting the best version of the Garrick with, I think, Throne of Eldraine, and they wanted a bunch of money for it. And I was just like, it turns out it's gone down $20 in the 3 days since you opened it. No, like, just no, like, I can't even give you a number. And that's what we've seen is they just, so I don't know. I guess we'll see if the pendulum swings back. It also remains to be seen what something like Secret Lairs do when you start getting to the second and third special printings of cards. So we'll see, but you're absolutely right that the average experience has sort of gone down in terms of what's possible without being paywalled. So it's interesting, I guess. So I guess the takeaway here is if you are looking at, like me, and you're looking at Gilded Goose at $2 and you're like, this seems absurd, maybe keep in mind that if you're looking at a 2 to 3 year time span, we might have 3 more versions of Gilded Goose by then. They might, like, I have a full art borderless foil or whatever, the special version of Fabled Passage that was worth a ton of money at the time I traded for it, and I'm sure it's worth nothing now. Like, so
they're never going to print this card again. Oh, we're going to do it a lot this year.
Which is like, it's sort of fine, right? But so I have the full art foil version. I'm looking up the price on it right now. I think it was $100 when I got it. It's $40 now. So like, So maybe just keep your expectations in check if you're thinking about buying collector boosters,
or just get rid of them. Just get rid of them.
I honestly would not hate them abolishing collector boosters. I think it was a cool experiment, and I really wish they'd go away. And that was somebody that bought cases of collector boosters.
Well, and they kept getting worse too, right? Like or keep getting worse. That feels like what you get out of buying one of those boxes a year ago when they would have a 30-minute. Look at all this cool stuff. It's just steadily been reduced since then.
But like the collector boosters suck, but they also make the set boosters suck.
Right. Yep, that's a good way to look at it.
Or the draft boosters. Like they're not great, but also they're the only thing worth buying. But they're not great.
They probably make them a lot of money. That's a great way to. We spent 10 minutes talking about. That's the perfect way to sum it up, Jason. Okay, well then let's move on and jump into pick of the week.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
It's time.
I audibled. I had a card sitting on my table here. I was like, this is a spicy one. I think this is great. It's going to be a wonderful pick of the week.
I'll go then.
And then I chucked it out the window.
Pick of the week.
Oh no! I have a card that is in so many decks. Like, I'm surprised it's not more than $5. This card was $2 last week. You can still probably get them for $2-3. I would pay under $5. This is a $7 to $10 card. Demonic Pact is in Blim, Comedic Genius, again, Arcanum Weaver, and Obeka. Because you can use all of those different cards to circumvent the you lose the game clause. So, with Demonic Pact, you basically every turn pick a thing. So it's like, first you deal 4 damage to a creature or player, gain 4 life. An opponent discards 2, you draw 2, then you lose the game. So with Blim, you donate it, and they die. With Gen, you sack it and get another enchantment back, and then so you draw and make them discard and like, you know, lightning helix somebody, and then yeah. And with Obeka, you're like, oh, I lose the game. No, I don't. I end the turn. So like the 3 of the like 7 most popular decks on EDH Rec all want this card for various reasons. Demonic Pact it's a $10 card waiting to happen. It's a mythic from Origins, so like there wasn't a ton of Origins open. It's fairly old. It's a mythic, and this is a card that like is sitting in binders at the LGS for $2. Go get Demonic Pact. You will be glad you did. This is a card that's just in so many decks that you know, it's just waiting to go up. And you know, with Obeka, people are starting to run the my pick of the week last week, the Sundial too. So yeah, this is just a nutso card. Like anytime you can cheat in Magic, there are 3 different ways to cheat with this card on the basis of Commander Legends, and you really can't beat that.
I like this.
Mm-hmm. All right. DJ, you want to jump in?
Sure. So this is entirely man, I wish I had done more prep for this card because then I would have the appropriate analogy. But I have picked cards like this in the past where you use the information that you have about upcoming sets, and then you make educated guesses about what people will scramble for when you get slightly more information about that set.
Yeah.
So like I mean,
talking Kaldheim or Kaldheim?
Yeah. For this example specifically, my pick is for Kaldheim. For other examples in the past, like I have picked like pirate-esque cards back when we knew Ixalan was right. Like, oh, there's some pirates. And we didn't know much else. So with Kaldheim, I am looking at Lovisa Cold Eyes, which is a Cold Snap rare that was reprinted once in a dual deck. It is a 5-mana 3/3 that says all of your barbarians, warriors, and berserkers get +2/+2 in haste. Now, I
love this pick.
I have no idea if all of those creature types are going to be in Kaldheim. They might make Viking a creature type. I have no idea, but I know
they might errata this one.
They could errata this one. Maybe they print a bunch of barbarians, warriors, and berserkers. I have no idea.
Maybe everybody, when they start to see Kaldheim cards, goes and buys this, just like they bought Bitter Blossom when they heard.
Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah,
the Fairy Tale set, Fairy Tale, Fairy, okay, I'll go buy a Bitter Blossom. Like,
that was
so long ago.
That was Nashville. That was Magic Fest Nashville, I think, where people were getting, like, content creators were getting envelopes that had fairies on them, and it was like, you're invited to the Royal Fairy Court or whatever, and then people just went freaking bonkers. Yeah, that was like roughly 15.
Do you remember what Magic was?
That was like 15 or 16 months ago, I want to say. I could be wrong.
You remember the world that was when we thought Modern Horizons was an aberration.
That's the perfect example, right? And like the second we get a small amount of information about Cold Time, Loziva Cold Eyes either A, stays at $1 or goes to like $8.
Yeah, I love this pick, DJ. It's a great pick. I think they're probably going to do dwarves. I would actually start looking at dwarf cards, people.
Well, they did that in Eldraine already. They did that in Eldraine.
Yeah. Did it pop? Well, but like it's probably going to be more of them. You're right. That might not be a huge thing.
And they tried it. And they tried it in Kaladesh. It was a swing and a miss. And they tried it in Eldraine, and it was a swing and a miss. So I don't think they'll do dwarves.
Yeah, you're probably right. What else would they do though? I mean, I think you're right. Like Berserkers.
I mean, they'll make up some other they'll make up some other like archetypical villain, right? Like Ixalan. They were like, we'll have conquistador vampires, and then Reddit will be like, but Mark Rosewater, you didn't make the conquistadors evil enough. He's like, we've literally made them blood sucking vampires. What do you want from me?
All right. I'm gonna finish.
But I read the Ixalan novel.
I've been at some of the panels. This is so accurate.
Oh,
I know this is.
Why
great,
are you so heated? I'm being calm. That's got passionate about the movie Speed, and then I like, you know what? We haven't talked about Speed in like 45 minutes, and I sort of lost interest.
That's why I tell you, I've enjoyed.
No one's
this
made
episode.
a single reference to Jeff Daniels going into Dennis Hopper's house and not realizing the guy's a bomb maker, right? Of course his house is booby trapped. Why would you go climb in through a window when you know the guy's got motion sensors? So like, that was a misplay, just like making collector boosters was a misplay. I can relate anything to the movie Speed. Try me. The point is... Go on, give me a topic that's happening in Magic right now and see if I cannot relate it to the movie Speed.
Secret Lair metal.
Well, Secret Lair is sort of like when Dennis Hopper sort of hollowed the trash can out underneath so the bags of money would drop through. So when they he's like, put the money in the trash can, and the cops are all watching the trash can for him to put the money in. The money actually fell through into the subway tunnels. So they were waiting for a guy to go by and get the money out of the trash can, but he'd made a secret lair underneath the ground where he could just pick up the bags of money. I told you. Give me another one.
Curled foils. People are mad about like their foils curling from Commander Legends.
Just like Dennis Hopper was mad about the cheap gold watch he got when he retired from the force and he used that curly gold foily watch as the timer on one of the bombs, just to let everybody know that he was upset that the city gave him nothing when he was disarming a bomb and blew off one of his fingers. You know, he served the LAPD dutifully for years, and he got a slap in the face, just like players who pay extra money for these collector boosters to get foils are getting a slap in the face. It's the same thing.
All right, it sounds like exactly the same.
I am very excited to see what JJ cooks up for the title of this episode.
Let's do one more and then move on.
Originalmagicart.store.
See, pitching the Original Magic Art .store, which is our sponsor. If you go to the Original Magic Art website and use our promo code, you can support this podcast the way Keanu Reeves had to support Jeff Daniels after he shot him in the leg. You can support us. Prop us up. We are the hostage.
We didn't shoot anybody. Oh, we got shot?
We got shot.
Josh shot us?
We're the hostage.
Josh shot us?
Josh did not shoot us. Josh is perhaps the LAPD in this scenario, and our listeners are Dennis Hopper, and Original Magic Art is Keanu Reeves, and we're Jeff Daniels. That's how that works in this scenario. You can support this podcast the way Keanu support Jeff when he shot him in the leg. Pop quiz hot shot. Where can you go to get the best original magic art printed on all sorts of things from playmats to tokens? You go to the original magic art website, use our promo code. I don't know what it is. It's not my job. I just disarm bombs. I'm Keanu. It's not my job to know what's going on in the LAPD. I don't know the code. I need the codes. But what I do know is that if there is a code and it exists, you can use it on the original magic art. And check out the Foglio Folio. Check out all the original magic art. Please get yourself a Christmas present. Get yourself a Hanukkah present or a Kwanzaa present. I don't care what you celebrate. I just care that you buy yourself or a loved one or a friend something from the OMA site, something you were going to do anyway. Use our promo code, support this podcast. The way the LAPD did not support Dennis Hopper's character.
I thought you were gonna go.
All right, man.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought that was gonna spiral down a lot further than that. I thought you were gonna go like full Rick Sanchez with the train and like a full capitalism thing with like.
Could it spiral down the way Alan Ruck's character spiraled down to the bottom of the bus and saw there was a bomb attached, and he, was on the phone, and Keanu looked and he's like, "Oh, f- me," and Alan Ruck's character said, "Oh, darn." Which is, great because he was sort of like channeling his character from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, So the way that the cast spiraled down where they had just so much depth, they had so many good actors in that movie. It wasn't just front loaded having Keanu Reeves at the peak of his career. Was it the peak? Who knows? But Dennis Hopper clearly was peaking at that time. So, you have a lot of depth in that cast, just like you have a lot of depth in the amount of art on originalmagicart.com. So you should make haste. Do not go slower than 60 miles an hour when you go to that website and use our promo code. What's our promo code? Does anybody know?
Tell them to use promo code BrewCrew to save 10% on an order of $10 or more.
That's significant. That's a significant. It's a promo code and a discount code. You get a discount, we get a kickback. Everybody's happy. Like everyone was happy at the end of the movie Speed, where Keanu killed Dennis Hopper. Spoiler alert. And nobody got blown up by a bomb anymore. Plenty of people got blown up by bombs up to that point, but after that point, the evil bomb maker was dead. So everyone will be happy. Like they were at the end of the movie Speed, where Keanu and Sandra Bullock are like, "Oh, we're so hot for each other," after being next to each other on the bus.
Why don't we go have single bus people sex now?
I honestly don't even know if I've ever seen the entire movie Speed. However,
I have now. I mean, I didn't before this podcast, but now I have.
I got the whole thing now. There's Speed 2, correct?
Speed 2 was not Keanu Reeves. It was a different actor who played Keanu Reeves' same character. It was on a boat. Bad. And they weren't concerned with the boat going a certain speed. They were concerned with the big climactic shot at the end where the boat's like, well, there's some people on the land. The boat's coming. They're waving. And then they realize the boat's not stopping. And then they run. Willem Dafoe was in that movie. Good movie. Speed 2. Piece of shit, actually. Not a good movie. Don't see. You know what? Definitely see Speed 2. It's a real piece of shit, but you should experience Speed 2. And Speed 2 being a piece of shit you should experience is like Original Magic Art being a great website you should experience. So use the promo code BrewCrew to save 10% off an order of $10 or more. Give us a kickback and use the money that you save to go find a copy of Speed 2 and watch it and be like, well, I didn't care for that, but I'm glad I experienced it.
Nobody finds copies of anything. Jason, it's 2020.
Yeah, 2020. We have a website called the Electronic Bay where you can go get a DVD copy, then go to going out of business sale of an ABC warehouse or a Circuit City and be like, how much for a DVD player? They're like, use the promo code, we're going out of business, to save 90% on a DVD player because... Selling electronics in a store, not really a business
model at checkout.
The Family Video near me the Family Video / CBD store near me finally kicked the bucket. They had like a 3-month spree. They were like, "We're doing CBD now," and then they died.
And then, all right, I've got a pick of the week. All right, I guess we've got to end it somewhere. There's some after hours in there for you, everybody. It's a good one. Patreon.com/BSB if you want those after hours. I have a pick of the week.
One thing I want to talk about briefly. Can we talk MTG Finance for the next 120 seconds? Time me.
Deal.
I want to JJ's going to put the counter on the TikTok on the screen.
Right, hold up.
Tectonic Instability was a card that recently spiked, but it was very predictable. I have a
pick of the week.
But it was very predictable, and it was something I predicted in the articles I write on mtgprice.com, because I noticed that Tectonic Instability was played exactly as much as a card in Yurlock. It was from the same set, and it was played exactly as much, but it hadn't gone up because it was one of those, everyone knows what goes in Yurlock, even if they don't play EDH sort of a thing. So you have the really obvious to speculators specs, and then you have the you need EDH rec data to show you what people who are building the deck are actually playing specs. So when I saw Tectonic Instability was played exactly as much as a card that was $10 already and gone up from like $3, and Tectonic Instability was still $3, that was the thing you noticed. So what I recommend is looking at the whole deck. People are like, oh, it's obvious what's going to go up on the basis of like a whatever that merfolk is. Whatever, Yurlock or Obeka, the stuff that like everyone saw the Final Fortune coming with Obeka, but like there's more than one card in that deck. So you need to see what the other 98 cards in that deck are. And once you do that, you're going to notice that there are some cards in the same sets, same number of printings, same rarity, same card basically, played just as much, but hasn't gone up yet because the people that like bought all the obvious stuff didn't realize that you got to build the rest of the deck. So I would recommend really drilling down, seeing what else is in the deck, and you're going to pick up those $3 Tectonic Instabilities. They're going to go to 11 just like the other stuff, and you're going to make out like a bandit. That's my finance advice for the week. Watch the movie Speed 2. It's a piece of shit. Oh my God, so bad. Willem Dafoe's like putting leeches on himself for some reason. He's got like copper poisoning in his blood. I don't remember, man. It was not a good movie.
And that's 2 minutes.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Great job, Jason. Also, my pick of the week is Thematic Compass. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Oh, I didn't do my pick of the week.
Just Jason, you did your pick of the week first.
Was it the movie Speed 3?
It was 30 minutes ago, but you did it.
Was it the movie Speed 3?
Well, I was gonna say, because like when Corbin pulled us into pick of the week, I was like, man, there's so much time left. What are we gonna? And then
what are we gonna talk about? Can we talk about how Sakashima of 1,000 Faces is built more than Obeka this week? That's crazy. Built more than Obeka, Gen, Arden, Yurlock, Kadama, the East Tree. People are building the shit out of Sakashima. It's because it's a mirror gallery on a stick, I guess. I don't know. What are you gonna do? This is like we're fading out like slowly. The music's playing. What were you gonna say, Corbin? This is all fade out time. This is good. This is good post podcast afterglow. What were you gonna say? Contribute.
I don't even know what happened. I don't even know what happened in the past 70 minutes.
Was it 70 minutes? There's so much cuttable. We're going to have a 43-minute podcast.
I have no concept of what just occurred.